Most 2-stars look pretty easy, yet what if I made a 2-star that looks like a top 1? Well, today that's what I'm going to be doing, so stick around until the end to see the results. So to begin, I'm going to select a super intense song, so bear with me whilst I do that. Okay, now the first thing I'm going to do is make this 4x speed, and then I'm just going to go up here and start building really intense gameplay. So this song is really intense, so I'm just going to make like a bunch of really fast-paced, just insane gameplay where you have to do like 2 clicks. So there's going to be a red pad here which launches you into the air. I can add like some spikes to make this look just like really tight when it's not. And then I can add, saws and stuff just to make it look as tight as possible even when you're not even clicking. And then you can go into a mini wave where you just literally slide and you can't even die. And then you can go into a cube and do a jump. It looks difficult, but it's really easy because like the spikes will move out the way right at the end. Okay, so now above these pads, I'm just going to add a bunch of like fake spikes. That's a bad idea because it's just like fake, difficulty. It just looks difficult when it's not actually. So instead, I'm going to add these decorational objects that look enough like saws to trick you, but is not enough to actually be like a troll. There we go. That looks like a saw enough to be, convincing, but also it's a decoration object, so I'm not technically actually, making objects that don't actually have collision, because they already didn't have collision. Okay, I've touched it up a bit to make it look even more convincing, and this looks really funny. It actually looks like it's going to kill you, so I'm just going to spam these everywhere now. Okay, now I'm going to add like some pads here, and make the ball just do the most like insane things ever, and then after that, I'll add a bunch of like wacky camera controls and stuff, and then I can move on to the next part. Right, so here I'm going to add like a bunch of spikes, but there's just going to be pads like inside of them, so you never actually hit them. Okay, let's also just add a bunch of spikes, because why not? Okay, so now I've got this insanity in place. I'm just going to add like a big line of red orbs, just for you to like hit them. In case, you missed the first one, there's a second one. And then it just launches you up, and you'll just go into this like portal that will take you to another wave part, I guess. Let's just add some more spikes and saws for good measure. This can go here, so it's like barely grazing the hitboxes. Just add a bunch of these just to make it look really difficult. And then I can put like fake ground spikes down here by using like these spiky things. Okay, then here there'll be another one of these wave parts. And I'm getting a bit lazy, so I'm not joking, I'll just copy and paste this whole thing. And then there can be just like a part where there's a bunch of these slopes. Then at the end, there's like these teleport pads, so you're just zooming across the screen. Oh my gosh, this is absolute insanity. Let's just copy and paste this again, and keep doing that until, we get to like a good 30 seconds long, just so it can be technically, long enough to be rated. And I can bring these ones just like down really far, just so it looks even more incredible, like you're just zooming across the screen. And there can be saws and stuff in the gaps where your player isn't, just so it looks like, you're doing even more close jumps. Okay, now I'm just going to take this whole part here. For a second, just going to move all these H blocks just a bit away, so I can select this all, and then I'm just going to rotate it on its side to make the wave just look, have some wacky movements that a wave shouldn't be able to do normally. Yeah, just add the cube part here, why not? Take this D block, spam it around. Here we go, take these, move them back down to the Q part. Okay, I'm kind of making it staggered to make it look even like weirder. Just so, it confuses the player even more, because then it looks harder. Add some more D blocks. If you look here as well, I was trying to talk about it earlier, but you can see that these are like staggered, these slopes, for 2 reasons. One, usually the wave just like goes through the slopes for some reason, because there's like nothing behind it or something. And 2, it makes it just look even more trippy, having the wave just like go up and down like slanted angle. Okay, let's just copy and paste this once more until this part of the song ends. Okay, then there's another part here, and I think I'll make that ship. So when you get teleported down here, you can go into a cube, and then you'll be launched off. So then you get launched up into the portal, and it goes on to the next part. Okay, that's already 12 seconds of gameplay, and this layout's already actually pretty cool, and like, although there's like 2 clicks in the whole level, it's still pretty fun just to watch your cube and your icons just go up and down, and it just like feels really cool when you're playing it. There are ways you can die, so I might want to fix that. So if I just go to 1, there's like all the D blocks in the whole level, so I can just spam some in areas where I die, then make them all invisible. And here, this part is quite precise, so I'm just going to turn off like the player's option to, actually click, and just turn it back on about here. And then this part should be fine. This part though, I'm also just going to turn off the player's option to click. And then I'll turn it back on when I need it. Playing this in game is actually so insane. I'm going to turn off the music because I think it's copyrighted and you can't hear me speak. But just like watching the wave just like break, it's so funny. Look, like what? And then just like watching the cube just like do impossible things. So for this ship, I'm once again just going to add a bunch of slopes. So I'm going to put a start position down and then I'm going to get to work. So I'll put one here, and right now it's mini, and I might keep it mini, so then you get launched up, and then I want there to basically be, when you're in the ship part, there's like slopes and there's spikes everywhere, but it won't matter because you can't die. It's going to be kind of reminiscent of like the Icy Stars ship part, where it's like, there's slopes everywhere and you have to avoid them, except this time the slopes help you, and you can't not avoid them, because you can't click. This is actually much harder than I thought, because you can't make it difficult, but it has to look really difficult. So you just have to use like gameplay that just looks absolutely insane. And then I can do some good old spamming of saws, just to make it look tight when you can't even play it. Okay, I think I can make this a bit tighter. So I'm going to move this up a couple, and then move this down a couple. Oh my gosh, it fits, it's working. Then over here, I can just line it up again, and then I can just build the top part here. Now let's line this up so the ship will pass through it. And then actually here, I'm going to add one ship click. Over here, there can just be like a really open flying section where you fly a bit, and I'll make it slow speed as well. So even better, I've made the player hold, so I can delete these, and I can just actually make it the tightest ship part ever. So, I can put one of these here, one there, bring this down here. Just make it like impossibly tight so that no human could do it unless it may or may not have been made pretty much auto. And there we go, it's done. This ship part is probably the best part of this level actually. So now I'm just going to take the wave part and once again copy and paste it. Okay, there we go, I've finished the wave part and also added this transition into the next one via the cube, where you're just going to get like launched into the portal, I guess. You know what, I think that is the level finished. I added this final thing where it launches the cube, and I think that's a good way to end it off. So without further ado, let's run the showcase.